Hello flight simmers, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a rather special flight we are doing today. It is gonna be the Qantas Dreamliner flight from Frankfurt down to Darwin, and that will be a direct flight. It's one of Qantas repatriation flights operated in early January. The date is the 2nd of January, and one might wonder, why is Qantas still operating repatriation flights after the pandemic has now been going on for 9 months or something like that? Well, I think it's down to the fact that Australia has been very restrictive in getting back their citizens, and this is the reason why these flights are still being operated, not only to Frankfurt, but to other destinations as well. I know that Paris and London are other destinations which they are also flying to right now. And it's always a similar procedure. They fly from Perth up to these destinations in Europe, and then from the destinations today it's going to be Frankfurt on a direct flight down to Darwin, and then from Darwin on to Sydney. And yes, so we're going to be doing both of those flights. The first one, of course, being the special one, as it is super long. Airtime today is calculated at 15 hours and 49 minutes, so almost 16 hours of flight time. It's quite amazing to see what these Dreamliners are capable of, but I will say a bit more about that when we are in the flight deck. Right now we are getting some catering from GSX, which is finished just now, and I will jump into the flight deck, set up a few things, and then I will meet you there, hopefully. Alrighty, so here we are. I have done some basic preparations. Done the takeoff calculations, did all the FMC setup, and we are basically ready to get prepared for pushback. In fact, let's disconnect the jetways first, and then we can do the rest. Undock 1 and 2 like this. That seems to work perfect. And yes, then we can complete this checklist before start checklist MCP. V2 is 172, so I've set it to 182. That's done. Initial heading is 068, and top altitude for the departure route is 4000. That's all in there, so MCP is done. Takeoff speeds 64, 67 and 72, of course rather high since we are heavy. I will say a bit more about the performance today during taxi. We have a bit of taxi ahead, so we can use that time to talk about it. That's all done, taxi and takeoff briefing. And then the beacons will come on in a second. Now I'm just remembering, I've once again forgot to fire up the APU. But that shouldn't take too long. Okay, so in this case, I will take the time now. So takeoff weight is going to be 238 tons, and max takeoff weight would be 254, meaning we are still, how much is it? Like 16? Yeah, I think 16 tons shy of max takeoff weight. Also, there's a bit more capacity in the fuel tanks. We are carrying 91.9 tons of fuel today. And yeah, that's just indicating what kind of routes the Dreamliner could even fly. We are not even maxed out in that regard today, but nevertheless, it's of course a heavy departure for the Dreamliner. I didn't put too many packs in there. I don't think these flights are fully booked, although I'm not sure about this, of course. Just a guess, but yeah, not too heavy in terms of payload. Right, so APU is available now, so now I can go ahead and ask for the pushback. No de-icing please, it is quite cold, that's correct, but it's dry. And parking brake is set. And now let's get rid of the external power, and then also external power and wheel shocks can go. Right, beacon lights go on now, and then we can put on the other switches. Hydraulics, hello, first Captain, the right, then the left, and then the centers, if I remember correctly. And fuel pumps, we of course do have some fuel in the center tank. Not even some, but quite a lot of fuel in the center tank today. And so overhead panel is looking good for now, before start checklist is completed. Right, and departure runway is going to be 07 center, meaning we will need to do quite a bit of taxi. Yeah, we are parked here at gate Bravo 47, I think it is. and we will need to taxi all the way down there on taxiway Lima. Okay, quick check if there's any other traffic around, but it's clear over here, so we should be good for our pushback.
Release parking brake. Commencing push. Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push completed and brake set.
Yeah, they want us to wait, but I think we can go ahead in a second. These engines anyway fire up rather fast. This can go to off, we don't need that one. And this one as well. Yeah, selected temperature 42 today with takeoff thrust. So you can see it's even a little bit of a derate, although we are getting 100.1% of N1 flap 5 setting. And yeah, I hope it works out, but it's of course a super long runway here at Frankfurt, so should be quite fine nevertheless. Alright, let's switch this one around. And then, since we have gained some distance from the terminal now, maybe we are good to fire up the engines. Yeah, starting 1 and 2. Packs come off automatically. It all works very simple in the Dreamliner. Beautiful. General electric engines firing up. Also, I haven't mentioned about the livery today, but we are running the Qantas 100 years livery on this rather new Dreamliner, and I think it's kind of cool since they do have all the old Qantas logos on here. We can see how they developed over time. They're pretty fun to see, really. Kind of cool, and beautiful livery itself, of course. All right. Parking brake.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Yes, we do have that. Thank you. Okay, seems like everything is running already. It's always so fast in the Dreamliner that I'm kind of wondering if everything is correct. But generators 1 and 2 are providing power, so APU can come off.
Unlocking gear.
Like that. And packs are on. All looking good. I think we can even put them to on, sort of automatic. When the APU is off, then they don't provide power, of course. So it should work like this as well. Alrighty, anti-ice. No, we don't need that. As already mentioned, it's dry. A bit of clouds up there, not too much, but I think we should be good. Recall. Just TCAS, and that's fine. Auto brake goes RTO. Flight controls. Full left.
Left is clear, right
full
is
right.
Clear.
Neutral, full up. Full down, neutral, and the rudder. Full left, full right. That's done. As we are here, takeoff trim needs to be 6.0. So we need to trim it up a bit. Like that. And ground equipment, I think it's also clear right now. Perfect. Okay, flaps go to position 5. Like that. And so we are looking rather good now. How do I get this? Right, there we are. Okay, so we will taxi out straight ahead and then on Lima, which is parallel to the runway, and then you can see we basically need to cover the full length down to the other side, which will take a few seconds, but should be fine. Alrighty, releasing the parking brakes, and we are slowly picking up speed. Yeah, maybe I will add a little bit of power on that. Just to get us going initially. Quite a nice lineup of AI traffic here. There's Condor 767s, Lufthansa 747s, all of which very sadly these days are actually grounded, parked up on the other runway. But of course, The AI traffic in the sim doesn't know about that. Middle East Airlines A330 200 over here. Quite cool. Okay, now the slight right-hand turn, and then it won't even be too far to Lima. Okay, quickly holding short as there is an Air Dolomiti Embraer taxiing straight ahead. Okay, but now we should be good to continue. Well, I did forget the taxi lights, just remembered that. Should be on, of course. And we are once again getting the very weird display of icing on the taxiway, which is super unrealistic, but we just need to disregard that. You can see there's quite a bit of traffic down there. Maybe we'll even need to wait a second until we can line up. Alright, another right-hand turn, and then it's just all the way down to the runway. And in order to save a little bit of video time, I will meet you guys down there. Alrighty, so now we are almost there. Time to start setting up all the stuff, weather and traffic over here, and then also the VORs, of course, and then we can put terrain and traffic on this side and VORs as well, like that. And now we get the announcement in the background. Also, we should set up the transponder, tilt above, and then TARA, like that. Right, zooming out a bit. Okay, it's only showing this guy on the runway, so there shouldn't really be too much other traffic around, which of course makes it easier for us as well. Righty, and for the departure, we will fly runway heading until we get to 800 feet. And then we will do a very slight right-hand turn and then follow the routing of the departure route. And he should be off any second now. Also, this can come off. Before takeoff checklist completed, flaps are set. This will be after takeoff. Right. Yeah, perfect. He's going off. So we can taxi straight onto the runway. And all the lights come on, strobes as well. Turn-offs, I don't really think we need those today. Yeah, now that I'm not having the enhanced atmospherics enabled, the cockpit also appears a bit brighter and not too dark as we had it on the other flight before. And yeah, it does look a bit nicer like this. So quite good. I'm not sure if we ever had such a heavy 787 on the channel before. Of course, it is a very powerful aircraft, but nevertheless, flying aircrafts close to their maximum takeoff weight is always a bit more fun in my opinion, and also a bit more challenging, of course. Alright, looks like he has gained some space on us, so righty, I think we are good to go. So let's do it. 15 hours and 50 minutes of flight ahead. Let's get cracking. Power to around 50%. and take off. Engines are always very silent in the background. 101.4% of N1.
Check.
That's speeding up quite easily. That should be no trouble really.
B1. Rotate.
Rotate. Alright, and we're airborne. That was easy. I was expecting to use a bit more runway there. They could have derated even a bit more. Cool. It's a bit laggy now, but hope it will get better during the cruise. Departing snowy Frankfurt. Very well.
Flaps 1.
Okay, I think we can already put the autopilot to work.
Autopilot on.
And
Autopilot
this can go up to cruise level 350 initially. Like this, and then flaps 1. I never get how QualityWings is setting the speed bugs here. But never mind. Seems like we are anyway stuck to 220 knots for a little while longer. Yes, and what this does, the routine actually has this bit of a bend in here, according to the official departure route. I know that the real-world aircraft, it did fly straight ahead, so apparently it's possible if we have a certain altitude. Not quite sure what the rule is for that, but it apparently seemed to work on that flight, so maybe we can do it as well. But now, first of all, we're heading into this bit of a right-hand turn, and also speeding up further, so I can retract the flaps any second now. Okay, flaps up, and after takeoff checklist is completed. Let me find the button now here. Like this. Cool. And now we're just about to head into this bit of a cloud cover. Here we go. And also we are past 5,000 feet, which is the transition, so this goes to standard, and then all the lights, nose light and taxi lights come off. Yeah, I think I haven't even mentioned the timing of our departure. So we departed at, should be 10:30. Yeah, now it's 9:39 Zulu, and yeah, which makes 10:39 local time. So morning departure, and we will get to Darwin, I think also around 10 o'clock actually. So quite a long cruise, and we will have, of course, a sunset, and then later on sunrise. We will basically cover a full night on the cruise before we get to Australia. Alrighty, now that we are settled, quite stable on our departure, and we are exceeding 250 knots. I didn't know that the Dreamliner was doing it as well. I certainly knew the 747 is doing this, but yeah, apparently that's a learning for heavy Dreamliners. Going above 250 knots, but that's perfectly fine with me. And so we are climbing, and everything looks good. Thank you for joining me on this departure, and then I will get back to you when we get close to Down Under. Enjoy! Hello viewers, welcome back to the flight deck. We now have an airtime of 15 hours and 37 minutes and we are finally descending into Darwin. It's a crazy long flight. Yeah, it's really quite insane. But now we are almost there, luckily. And yeah, weather is looking good. Let's talk about the landing in a second. First of all, I can mention cruise was quite nice. Now we might need some drag coming up. Yeah, cruise was quite nice, not too exciting. Also weather was fine. We just had to circumnavigate some thunderstorms close to Bali, but that did in fact even cut short our route a little bit, so that's why we still have 10.8 tons of fuel on board. Quite nice. And yeah, I'm just seeing, let me help the aircraft slow down a bit. I think you might need it since we are coming up to 10,000 feet. Reason is, for the last waypoint we had a constraint of being above flight level 130, and now we need to get down there, but I think it should be just fine. Yes, Darwin is off to our right hand side now. There we can see it. And okay, airport is, yeah, there's a bit of the runway, I think. Otherwise the airport is a bit blocked out by the clouds right now. We are currently on the Donya 8 Alpha arrival, and this will put us on an ILS landing runway 29, of course. So now we are just passing the airport, and then we will do a 180-degree turn, right-hand turn, and then we are on to the final approach. Weather itself, well, as you can see, quite nice. So we have winds 50 knots from 300, giving the runway heading, it's pretty much straight on the nose, which makes it easy. A few clouds down there at 2100, very warm of course, 32 degrees, summertime in Australia. And yes, scenery will be the MFSG Darwin scenery, I think it's called like that. I'm not sure if it's the best scenery we have in the sim, but at least we do have it, which is quite nice. So it should be looking good. Right, we are still a bit fast, but speed is finally coming down a bit. At waypoint Lapar, we want to be at 3,000 feet. This will be the approach fix for the glide slope. And from there on, it will be, let me check, 9.4 miles left. So yeah, maybe we can start setting flaps slightly before this turn. And then we can do it at a bit of a lower speed. That would be quite nice, but it should be fine. I have set up auto brake 1. We are quite light now. Final approach speed will be 136 plus 5 makes 141, and runway is quite long even, and we anyway want to go rather far down on the runway, so that should be fine, even paired with only idle reverse thrust. Right, we can enjoy a bit of the views. It's the ORBX Australia scenery, as we know it from previous flights. Probably the best continent coverage we have in Prepare 3D. Looking quite stunning, although it does appear a bit green for this time of the year, to be honest. If I were to guess, I would assume this area is more of a brownish color this time of the year, but I might be mistaken after all. Okay, let's see, we're closing in on 230 knots now. Maybe it is a good time to store the speed brakes and set flaps 1. Yeah, just as we are heading into this right-hand turn. This will give us some additional drag, which we can need quite well today. Alrighty, so I also thought I could mention a bit about how I usually do these flights, since I haven't done it before. In case you were ever wondering if I really record these flights in full, the answer is yes, I do, which means I am not using any time acceleration. Reason is, for me, that somehow destroys the feeling of a nice long-haul flight, so I always do it in real time. On this particular flight, however, I have to say I didn't do it in one go. I saved it in between and then picked it up the next day, since 16 hours of flying is a little bit much for one day, but yeah, all the other flights, well, short hauls anyways, and also most of the normal length long haul, let's call them like this, I do in real time and on one day. If if I can fit it into my schedule, of course. Right, so let's see, flap 5, 240, we are speeding up. Yeah, let's take the chance and go flaps 5. I think we could need quite well now. Okay, but other than that, I think we can arm these speed brakes. That should be fine from now on. Okay, and then let's go localizer. That should be captured rather fast. There it is. And then also arm approach mode. And there's the glide slope. Easy. And then we can go speed 184 a bit. So go around procedure. We will simply climb runway heading 286. It's already dialed in here. And climb to 3,000 feet. Then we are out of the ocean, so that's really pretty straightforward. I just noticed I have forgotten once again the landing lights. Why do I keep forgetting it lately? No idea. But okay, now landing lights are on. Should have done it much earlier, of course. Alrighty, 12 miles out. Looking quite stable. Airport is down there. Runway textures not fully loaded in yet. But we are nicely established on the glide slope already. Yeah, so once we're down there, we will exit the runway to the left, although the terminal is off to the right hand side, but this flight was parked at the, I think it's even the military cargo ramp on the southwestern corner of the airfield. And I'm not sure what the procedures are for these flights, if people get put in a quarantine right away or if they continue to their final destination, no idea. I just saw on Flight Radar that this flight, or this aircraft rather, was not directly heading on to Sydney. So I still haven't decided if I actually will do the flight down to Sydney or not. Depends on what the real aircraft does. Yeah, but you will of course know by the length of this video. Okay, now we can slow down 141 like this, and well, 7 miles out. Still a touch too early for the gear. Let's wait another mile. And now it's 7 miles. All right.
Landing checklist.
Okay, so dropping the gear and flap 15. And I will keep the flaps coming now. Alrighty, flaps full. I will take the auto throttle.
1,000.
And then also take the aircraft. And let's see, landing all green. Sweet. All the lights are fine. I don't think we need any of the runway turn-off lights today. Super bright day. Yeah, now also the terrain appears a bit more brownish in color, which I think is more realistic this time of the year. Alrighty, so it's the stable 15 knots of wind which we have been expecting. So in theory this should go quite well, but
500.
never know. I do hope, of course, that I don't slam this landing now after such a long flight. It would be kind of sad,
400.
really. Okay, minimums continue.
Approaching minimums.
I think they are calling it out too late, actually.
200 minimums.
Yeah, we've had that.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20.
Okay, retard,
Yeah.
keep it descending. Right, that was quite okay, I think. I'll reverse. And decelerating nicely. Cool. Okay, manual braking and idle forward. Now let's see where we are. I think there's this runway coming up. This is Bravo. Is it Bravo 1? Ah, okay, so we have to go quite a bit further now. Yes, so slowing down this aircraft is quite easy compared to other ones. Not sure if we're gonna have an airport map here. Doesn't seem like it. Alrighty, weather, traffic. We can already start a bit of the cleanup. Traffic and terrain. We are still on the runway, so I'm gonna leave the transponder on for a second. But flaps can come up. And then speed brakes come down, of course. And yeah, now this taxiway to the left, this is ours. And then we can also set up GSX. Yeah, so as you can see, textures are not really the best ones we've ever seen, but it's okay. I think it's not the newest scenery as well, so it's quite alright. Now we will of course get quite fast on idle power since the aircraft now is really light. Alrighty, APU was on. Landing lights come off. Strobes come off. Taxi lights go on. What else? Transponder goes to standby. Did I forget anything? I hope not. And now I think if we set up GSX, it should be position 50 if I'm not mistaken. 0 parkings, quite nice. Yeah, it's probably too small initially, but we can nevertheless set it up. 50, where is it? I think it was 50. No, follow me. Qatar Air Cargo they have down here, that's quite interesting. Yes, there's the parking, and then we might need to go quickly to the GSX config and make it a bit larger. But stairs and cargo loaders are there, which is quite promising initially. I would actually like to turn off one engine, but I think back from Amsterdam it was, really learned that the QualityWings does not work well on one engine, weirdly. Am I gonna end up skewed or is it okay? I think turned a bit early. Okay, now the question is where to stop. 90 feet does appear a bit far, to be honest. There's the stairs, there's the pushback. Maybe it's sort of okay. Yeah, let's hold here. I think this will be fine enough. Okay, parking brake goes on. APU is running. Sweet. So engine cutoffs. And what else? Beacon, seat belts, fuel pumps, window heats. And then let's get the external power and wheel chocks. So we can kill the hydraulics and also put on the external power, and then APU can come off. And then we can ask for deboarding. Okay, it is working, even though technically the parking is too small, but never mind. Okay, shutdown checklist. Wheel chocks are set, so parking brake goes off. Shutdown checklist is completed. Cool. Why? Okay, for some reason they want the parking brake. I'm going to leave it on now. And forward cargo, after cargo. And the doors. Cool, so flight time. Oh, now it's gone. Okay. I think it was 14:56 or 15:56, something like that. Anyway, quite long. Flight directors. Okay, but now we are set in the cockpit. Alrighty guys, and on that note, welcome once again to Darwin, to Down Under, after this super long haul flight over from Frankfurt. I am very happy you guys have joined me on this special flight operation, and I'm very much looking forward to get on to the next flight soon. Yeah, let's see if I will bring this aircraft down to Sydney or not. Anyways, thank you very much for joining me. Hope to see you next time. Take care and bye-bye.